Have you ever wondered if one forgotten clay tablet could completely change the way we look at the world's oldest civilization? Imagine a message so strange that it was copied for centuries, then quietly stored away while almost nobody talked about it. It speaks of mysterious fish-like beings, 7 extraordinary teachings, and one final lesson so unsettling that it seems to point towards something humanity was never meant to forget. Stay with me, because the final teaching is unlike anything you would expect. And if you enjoy exploring ancient mysteries and hidden history, make sure to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss our next journey into the unknown. Across the temples of ancient Sumer, one unusual figure appears again and again. It stands upright with the body of a fish wrapped around a human form, carrying a bucket in one hand and a cone-shaped object in the other. Archaeologists often describe these carvings as religious symbols connected with purification rituals. But there is something remarkable about them. The image barely changes over thousands of years. Different cities, different rulers, different generations. Yet the same mysterious figure remains almost untouched, as if the people creating these carvings believed they were preserving something far more important than artwork. Ancient Mesopotamian traditions tell of beings known today as the Apkallu. According to later Babylonian accounts, they emerged from the waters before the Great Flood to teach humanity the foundations of civilization. One of them, often called Oannes, was described as living between sea and land, spending the days among people and returning to the water each night. Rather than conquering kingdoms or demanding worship, these beings were remembered as teachers. They supposedly introduced writing, farming, architecture, mathematics, astronomy, and law, transforming scattered communities into organized societies. Among the many surviving clay tablets connected to Mesopotamia, one fragment has attracted particular attention because of what it appears to describe. According to some researchers and speculative interpretations, the damaged tablet contains a structured list of 7 teachings associated with these fish beings. It is important to remember that many translations remain debated, and there is no scholarly agreement that the tablet should be understood literally. Still, the story surrounding it has fascinated historians, writers, and mystery enthusiasts alike because of the questions it raises, rather than the answers it gives. The first teaching is often interpreted as knowledge of the heavens, but it goes beyond simply watching the stars. Instead, it suggests that the sky follows an ordered design that exists whether humans understand it or not. Ancient Sumerians became astonishingly skilled observers of celestial movements, recording planetary cycles and star positions with surprising accuracy. Whether this knowledge developed gradually through careful observation or was simply celebrated in mythology, it became one of the defining achievements of their civilization. The second teaching shifts attention from the sky to life itself. Some translations suggest it describes the hidden order inside living creatures. Others believe it refers to medicine, anatomy, or understanding the proper balance of nature. Whatever the original meaning, the central idea seems to be that living things follow patterns, and recognizing those patterns allows people to distinguish health from disorder. Even today, modern science is built on searching for those same invisible structures that govern life. Then comes the third teaching, and this is where the tone begins to change. Instead of describing knowledge, it speaks of responsibility. Some reports suggest it refers to actions that must be performed when certain conditions appear in the heavens. Rather than offering wisdom for everyday life, it describes an obligation connected to specific astronomical events. Whether this reflected religious ceremonies, seasonal observations, or symbolic storytelling remains uncertain. But the idea introduces a fascinating possibility. Knowledge alone was not enough. Humanity was expected to remember something and act when the proper moment arrived. The fourth teaching becomes even more mysterious. It has been interpreted as describing the language beneath ordinary language. Some scholars connect this to sacred speech, or the power of carefully chosen words in religious traditions. Ancient cultures often believed that spoken words could shape reality through prayer, blessing, or ritual. In this interpretation, communication was more than conversation. It represented a bridge between thought, order, and creation itself. Whether symbolic or literal, the concept reminds us how deeply ancient civilizations respected language. The fifth teaching appears to describe movement between different realms. Modern readers sometimes imagine portals or supernatural journeys, but ancient cultures often viewed reality in layers. The heavens, the earth, and the underworld formed connected parts of a larger universe. Stories of gods and wise beings traveling between these realms appear throughout Mesopotamian literature. If this teaching refers to such ideas, it may represent spiritual understanding rather than physical travel, encouraging people to see existence as more complex than what is visible. The sixth teaching is surprisingly practical. It focuses on preserving knowledge through catastrophe. The ancient world experienced floods, wars, fires, and the collapse of kingdoms. Entire libraries disappeared forever, yet the Sumerians copied important texts again and again across generations. Their determination to preserve wisdom may explain why fragments of their stories still survive today. Whether inspired by legend or simple experience, they clearly believed that knowledge was too valuable to disappear with a single civilization. Everything leads to the seventh teaching, the one that has sparked the greatest curiosity. According to speculative interpretations, unlike the previous teachings, this final instruction was marked as incomplete. It had been received, but not yet carried out. Some writers claim it describes preparing for the return of the very beings who originally shared the teachings. Others argue it symbolizes the return of wisdom after periods of darkness, or the renewal of civilization following disaster. There is no official confirmation that this dramatic interpretation reflects the tablet's true meaning, but the mystery has captured imaginations for decades. What makes this final teaching so unsettling is not the idea of mysterious visitors. It is the possibility that the story was never intended to describe the past alone. If ancient scribes deliberately marked the final instruction as something still awaiting fulfillment, then every generation copying the text would have viewed themselves as caretakers of an unfinished story. Whether understood literally or symbolically, that transforms the tablet from a historical record into a message aimed at the future. Perhaps that is why the legends of the fish beings have survived for thousands of years. They remind us that civilizations are built on knowledge passed from one generation to the next. Every culture inherits discoveries it did not create, preserves them as best it can, and leaves them behind for those who come after. In that sense, the seven teachings remain relevant, even if they are interpreted purely as mythology. Ancient Sumer continues to surprise archaeologists with remarkable discoveries, and each new translation reminds us how much of the ancient world remains uncertain. Some mysteries eventually receive simple explanations. Others continue inspiring debate because the evidence leaves room for imagination. The story of the seven teachings belongs firmly in that second category, balancing on the line between history, legend, and humanity's endless search for meaning. Now, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Do you think the seven teachings were symbolic lessons created by ancient priests? Or do you believe they preserve memories of something far more extraordinary? Share your opinion in the comments below, and if you know someone who loves ancient mysteries, send them this video and see what they think. Thanks for watching, and remember, sometimes the oldest stories are not valuable because they give us all the answers, but because they continue asking the questions we still cannot fully explain.